In the days when trade routes crossed mountains and deserts, and merchants journeyed for months to distant lands, there lived a wealthy merchant known for his honesty and kindness. His name was Saudagar Karim, and his caravans carried fine silks, spices, and precious stones to many countries. People admired him for his success, but what made him truly loved was his gentle heart. He believed that wealth meant nothing if it wasn't used with compassion. One day, while traveling through a foreign bazaar filled with exotic colors and the calls of traders, Saudagar noticed a beautiful green parrot in a golden cage. The bird's feathers shone in the sunlight like emeralds, and its voice was as sweet as a flute. The merchant stopped, mesmerized by its beauty. The shopkeeper smiled and said, "This parrot is special, master. It talks, sings, and greets people. It can keep you company on long nights." Saudagar couldn't resist. He bought the parrot along with a silver cage and brought it home as a companion. From that day, the parrot became a part of his family. He hung the cage near the window where sunlight and fresh air could reach. Every morning, the parrot chirped joyfully, greeting him with the words, "Good morning, Master Saudagar." And every evening, it softly sang melodies that brought peace to the merchant's heart. Years passed, and the parrot grew attached to its kind master. The merchant always fed it with the best fruits and nuts. Yet deep inside, the parrot longed for something the merchant could never understand: freedom. It often gazed through the bars of its cage, watching other birds fly freely in the sky. The cage was golden, the food delicious, the care loving, but it was still a cage. One evening, Saudagar gathered his family in the courtyard. His wife and children sat around him as he spoke warmly. "My dear ones," he said, "I am traveling once again to the land of Eden for trade. Tell me, what gifts shall I bring for you this time?" His eldest son asked for a jeweled sword, his youngest daughter wanted silk from Persia, and his wife requested rare perfumes. Saudagar smiled lovingly at each request, promising to fulfill them all. Then he turned toward the parrot's cage. "And you, my dear parrot," he said softly, "what gift shall I bring for you?" The parrot tilted its head, its eyes filled with sadness. "Master," it said in a gentle but trembling voice, "I do not desire jewels or fruits. I want only one favor. When you reach the land of Eden, go to the Garden of Parrots. There many of my brothers and sisters live freely. Tell them this message from me. O my brothers of Eden, you live under the open sky, while I am imprisoned in a cage far away. Remember me and tell me how I might find freedom." The merchant, touched by the parrot's words, promised to deliver the message. "I will tell them," he said kindly. "Perhaps they will send you their blessings." After many weeks of travel through deserts and storms, the merchant finally reached Eden, a land of green valleys, flowing rivers, and gardens full of singing birds. One morning, as he walked through a lush orchard, he saw a group of beautiful parrots fluttering among the trees. Remembering his promise, he stood under the shade and called out, "O parrots of Eden, I bring you a message from your captive brother who lives far away in a golden cage. He sends his love and says, 'You are free and happy here, but I am imprisoned and lonely there.'" The moment the merchant spoke these words, the garden fell silent. Then suddenly one of the parrots sitting high on a branch fluttered violently, let out a sharp cry, and fell lifeless to the ground. The merchant stood frozen, shocked beyond belief. "Oh no," he exclaimed, "what have I done?" His heart filled with guilt. He tried to pick up the fallen parrot, but it was already still. "Was it my message that killed him?" he whispered. Saddened, he left the garden with tears in his eyes. Days later, Saudagar returned home with his goods and gifts. His family rejoiced at his return. He handed each of them their presents and then walked toward the parrot's cage, his heart heavy. The parrot chirped happily, "Welcome home, master." But Saudagar's eyes grew moist. He sighed deeply and said, "My dear friend, I have fulfilled my promise. I went to the land of Eden and delivered your message to your brothers. But when I spoke your words, one parrot fluttered and fell dead from a tree. I fear my words brought him sorrow. Forgive me." The parrot's feathers trembled as it listened. For a moment it said nothing. Then quietly it flapped its wings once, twice, and suddenly fell to the bottom of the cage, motionless. The merchant gasped. "Oh no, not you too." He hurried to open the cage door, tears filling his eyes. "My poor parrot, what curse have I carried?" He lifted the small, still body in his hands and walked outside, sobbing softly. Standing near a tree, he whispered a prayer and gently laid the parrot on the ground. But the moment he let go, the parrot's wings suddenly opened. It flew up gracefully and perched on a nearby branch. The merchant's mouth fell open in astonishment. "My Intuda," he cried, "you're alive, what magic is this?" The parrot looked down with a kind but wise gaze. "Master Saudagar," it said softly, "that parrot in Eden was my teacher. His fall was not death but a message. He taught me that to be free, I must appear dead to the world, to comfort, to captivity. I only followed his lesson. Forgive me, but I cannot stay imprisoned any longer." The merchant, though heartbroken, nodded slowly. Tears streamed down his face, yet he smiled faintly. "You have taught me more than I ever taught you, my friend," he said. "Go, live freely. You were never meant for a cage." The parrot bowed its head, spread its wings, and flew toward the horizon, its emerald feathers shining in the sun. The merchant watched until it disappeared into the golden sky. That evening, as the sun set behind the hills, Saudagar sat quietly by the window where the cage once hung. He looked at the empty perch and whispered, "Sometimes, love means letting go. True kindness is not in possession but in freedom." From that day onward, he never kept another bird or animal in captivity again. He taught his children the same lesson, that every creature, no matter how small, deserves freedom, respect, and compassion. And so, the story of the merchant and the captive parrot spread far and wide, reminding people that love without freedom is no love at all. Moral message, narrator's closing lines. Freedom is the right of every living being. If you love someone, set them free, for love that imprisons is not love but selfishness. Compassion is not in owning but in understanding. Speech balloon call to action. For kindness quest outrow. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, and share this video with your friends. Your one share can spread a message of kindness. And don't forget to subscribe to Kindness Quest, where every story reminds us that humanity and compassion are the truest treasures of all.